Hello, welcome back. In today's practice, you will need a bolster, 2 blocks, and a strap or any acceptable substitutes. And we'll begin today in a shape. So grab your bolster and place it parallel to the short edge of your mat at the top of your mat. And then come to sit leaning on your right hip with both of your knees pointing toward the right. And release your weight over your bolster so that your rib cage comes just over the bolster. And you have a few choices here. You can either reach your right arm straight out toward the side of your mat, or reach it up over your head and release your ear onto your shoulder. And you can rest your left hand onto your bolster, or maybe reach it up overhead to make contact with your right hand. So choose a position where you can relax into the shape. Maybe close your eyes and soften your weight. So this shape might not feel like very much, but that's totally fine. Today's practice is all about the concept of less is more. So surrender to this idea. Less is more. Let this ring true for your practice and for your thoughts. Oftentimes when we stress, we let our thoughts spiral out of control, envisioning the worst scenarios. But today, instead, think less is more. Let a simple, worrisome thought be just that. Don't elevate its status to anything greater. So observe the sensations here in your body. They might be very small, and that's okay. Of course, readjust however you feel you need to get very comfortable. You may wish to place a pillow or a block underneath your head. Soften into the simplicity of the shape. And recognize that here now, less is more. Recognize how you feel right now. And let this simple ideology, this idea that less is more, repattern your thoughts. So let it repattern your thoughts about your practice today. Perhaps let it leak into your everyday life and let it repattern your thoughts around stress. Less is more. Take another full breath in. And on your exhale, simply roll over onto your back. Keep the bolster as it is, just underneath your heart center, and release down. So you may wish to place a block underneath your head, some extra support for your neck. And you can place your hands wherever feels good for you. You can rest them on the bolster onto your ribs. You can reach them over the bolster and open them out wide. You can stretch them up over your head. Find a position that feels good for you. And let yourself soften into this new shape. Make sure that your bolster is underneath your upper back, right underneath your shoulder blades, so that it's not elevating your lower back, but it's reaching the upper back. And in this simple shape again, remind yourself that less is more. Less is more in sensation today. Less is more in the shape of your body. And less is more in the patterns of your thoughts. When you have a million thoughts race through your mind, remind yourself, less is more. Keep it simple, even in thought. Not allowing yourself to let stressful thoughts spiral out of control, but always remembering that less is more. Take 3 full breaths. And on your next inhale, you can simply roll over onto your left side. I'm going to turn so that you can see. But either reach your left arm over toward the side of your mat, or stretch it up over your head. And then maybe release your head onto a prop or onto your left shoulder. And then rest your right hand either onto your bolster or maybe reach it up over your head. Release your knees over towards your left. And again, soften to this simple shape. Perhaps you feel an elongation through your whole right side body. Or perhaps you don't. Either way is fine. Remember that less is more here. Whatever thoughts you might notice start to arise, try to repattern them. Instead of allowing your mind to bounce from thought to thought, remember that less is more. Practicing this in your body in this shape and in your mind as well. Take 5 full breaths here. Surrendering to this idea that less is more. Allowing this simple idea to repattern the way you look at this. The way you're looking at your practice right now. And eventually the way that you look at stress. Less is more. If your right arm is over your head, place it onto your bolster and gently press down against it to rise up. Take your bolster lengthwise so that it's parallel with the long edge of your mat in front of you. And then come to lie down over your bolster. So place your belly onto your bolster. And stretch your legs back behind you. Now you can rest your chin onto your bolster or turn your head to one side and rest a cheek onto it. Just pause for a moment and sink your weight into the bolster. Close your eyes and soften your body. On your next breath, turn your right foot to face toward the right side of your mat, and then bend your knee deeply to slide your right knee toward your right elbow. In this very soft, gentle, simple shape, remind yourself that less is more. And let this simple idea repattern your thoughts. Take 5 deep breaths. On your next inhale, slowly stretch and straighten your right leg toward the back of your mat. On your next inhale, turn the toes of your left foot to face toward the left side of your mat. And then bend your knee deeply and slide it up towards your left elbow. If you had your head turned to one side, then maybe switch it to turn to rest on the opposite cheek. Again, soften your body weight. And in this very gentle shape, remember that less is more. Let this simple thought allow you to repattern all of your thoughts. Less is more. Take 5 more breaths. On your next inhale, slowly stretch and straighten your left leg. Place your hands down to frame out your chest and gently press the floor away to lift your torso off of your bolster. Move your bolster over toward the side and take your 2 blocks to the bottom of your mat on their lowest height. Let them be about as wide as your mat. And then take your strap and place a loop into it. And bend your knees, place your feet onto the floor, and then slide the strap under your feet. And then tighten it just above your knees. Place your toes onto your blocks. And walk your feet out roughly as wide as your mat, and then knock your knees in toward each other and readjust your strap as much as you need to so that it holds your legs in place as they are when you relax your muscles. And then keep your legs as they are and slowly lie down. Relax the weight of your pelvis down toward the floor and relax the weight of your heels toward the floor as well. And from here, give yourself a hug. You can cross any arm over the other as you wish, doesn't matter. And point your elbows toward the ceiling. And then turn your palms to face toward the outer edges of your mat. This way you won't grip onto the arms at all, but you can completely relax control. And then from here, close your eyes and slow your breath. So again, in this very simple shape, remind yourself that less is more. You don't need to feel big sensations in order to receive benefits from the pose. Allow your mind to soften as your body does. And as thoughts arise, and they probably will, simply repattern them. Don't delve deeply into any one thought and let it spring out into a million new ones. Remember that less is more. And strive to even clear your mind, perhaps by focusing your attention on your breath. You may wish to stay exactly as you are, or if you'd prefer, you can simply switch the cross of your arms. And then allow yourself to soften into this new space. Take 5 long breaths. On your next inhale, slowly release the cross of your arms and gently draw your knees towards your chest so that you can release the strap from around your legs. You may wish to kick your blocks out of the way and off of your mat, or you can keep them as they are and rest your knees over your blocks. And then release your arms by your sides and turn your palms to face up toward the sky as a symbol of surrender. Soften the weight of your whole body into the floor and close your eyes. Let everything melt down into the mat. Let your weight become heavy and allow your breath to become full. And this is where I will leave you today. But feel free to stay here for as long as you would like, repatterning your thoughts by reminding yourself that less is more. Namaste.